For orcas, SeaWorld is a boyfriend or girlfriend that some people have who tries to change them. Like many of these unhealthy relationships, at one point they must end. However, orcas at SeaWorld do not have the ability to end this relationship, which is why it's up to us to help them. We must overcome what the voice of San Diego calls a moral quandary, because another day that we depend on SeaWorld for success is another day that we depend on the suffering of orcas, which is why we must push SeaWorld so that we can pull their orcas out of captivity. As a member of the notorious FE orcas, I have done extensive research and have found that at SeaWorld, orcas are mentally and physically damaged. At SeaWorld, orcas are placed in tiny, unsuitable tanks, and these tanks cause orcas to be stressed. Dr. Naomi Rose points out that in captivity, even the largest orca tank is less than 0.001% in size compared to the small submarines for wild orcas. These tanks, which may seem enormous to the human eye, are about as roomy as a porta potty for even the smallest of orcas. In the wild, orcas are used to swimming hundreds of miles a day. However, captivity forces them to go against that. Because of these tiny tanks, the orca's energy is repressed, and as a result, they are stressed. As part of a modern society where people have become more sensitive about the treatment of animals, we must stop this because this is animal abuse. Captivity also causes orcas to be violent. In the wild, there is only one record of an orca harming a human. However, in captivity, there are numerous records, 3 in which resulted in the death of a human. Captive orcas are essentially like people on bath salts. One little push will make them go wild. These orcas are so irritated and have so much repressed energy that a little tick can create a giant explosion. These explosions can cause orcas to rake each other with their teeth or even target a trainer. And these pushes can be anything, which makes it so dangerous and unpredictable for trainers. Also, because of SeaWorld's exploitation and improper care of the orcas also die prematurely. Dr. Naomi Rose explains how, in captivity, orcas tend to chew on metal gates, breaking their teeth, leaving it exposed to bacteria. This is a behavior only popular among captive orcas that can lead to infections. However, Dr. Naomi Rose also explains how stress from captivity weakens the orca's immune system. Because of this, early deaths are also popular with captive orcas. Their broken teeth and their weakened immune system together make the dynamic duo in killing these orcas. In the wild, orcas have no natural enemy. However, in captivity, their worst enemy could be the flu, easily turning the sniffles into something deadly. As people, we tend to try to prolong the lives around us, and we owe it to these orcas to prolong their lives as well, not end it prematurely. However, there is a solution to all this. Dr. Naomi Rose proposes a solution where SeaWorld could work with experts to create orca sanctuaries where orcas would be rehabilitated and eventually released. It's a win-win solution because it helps both SeaWorld and its orcas. SeaWorld can continue to make money off their orcas by allowing public access to these sanctuaries, while also taking the time while these sanctuaries are in use to think of a new attraction for their park. However, if these sanctuaries are created, SeaWorld could lose their big ticket, and this could cause revenues to drop. However, this is a questionable argument because, according to Melissa Cronin, a new survey shows that 50% of Americans are now against the practice of orca captivity. We must not forget why SeaWorld's revenues and stocks have dropped in the first place. It is because of SeaWorld's hesitation to create a plan even after the public became aware of orca captivity that has stumped their economic growth. Getting rid of their big ticket will actually help revenues because it will improve SeaWorld's relations with the public. So what do we do now? What we need to do now is educate. We need to educate others. Many people still do not know about the unsuitable tanks. They don't know that the stress that the tanks cause. They don't know that these tanks cause the orcas to be violent and die earlier. So tell your friends, tell your imaginary friends. Whatever we do, we must spread the word wherever and whenever we can. We must also continue to boycott SeaWorld, continue to protest SeaWorld, and continue to inform others about SeaWorld. Because only when everyone has become anti-captivity, only then will SeaWorld realize that we will not stand for their nonsense and change their business. Together, we can be the third wheel to split up this terrible couple.